Hey guys, this video is going to be 5 different books that I wish I could give to everyone to read. I do realize that everyone has different tastes in books and likes different things, so you're never really going to find a book that everyone enjoys. When I'm talking to people and they don't like a book I enjoyed, then I do try to keep that in mind and not get angry at them for not liking something that I liked. But that being said, when I do read things that I really love, I do really wish just everyone could read this book and enjoy it and we could talk about it. While I feel that way about a ton of books, pretty much any book that I give 5 out of 5 stars to on Goodreads is a book that I wish more people would read. I tried to focus on 5 different books. This isn't even necessarily the top 5 that I would definitely give to people over any other books, because I am pretty sure that I'm probably forgetting some things. I'm just gonna go ahead and get Harry Potter out of the way. The thing with Harry Potter though is I feel like at this point either everyone has read it or they have made a very purposeful decision not to read it. So there aren't that many people you could give it to without really having to work at getting them to read it, having to convince them because for whatever reason they haven't wanted to before. It's definitely the #1 book that I wish absolutely everyone had read. Then there's Dear Leader, My Escape from North Korea by Jang Jin-sung. The book is written by a North Korean defector and then it was translated into English by someone else. He was a high-ranking counterintelligence agency and the former poet laureate to Kim Jong-il. And he escaped from North Korea, and this book is about his escape and also a lot of how he kind of realized that he was being lied to. His job was pretty much he had to take South Korean newspapers, kind of take the news in them and manipulate the news for North Koreans. Since that was his job, he was getting the South Korean news unfiltered from South Korea. Obviously that began to kind of spark some questions in his mind, and then he winds up escaping. The bulk of the book is pretty much his journey through North Korea and China and getting to South Korea. I think it's a very powerful book. It's not a first-hand story that you get to hear every day, definitely, and I really like how of all of the books that I've read about North Korea, this is the only one I've read actually written by a North Korean. Then we have Stargirl and Love Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli, which I would recommend Love Stargirl, which is the sequel, but I'm mostly including this on the list for Stargirl. I believe I read Stargirl for the first time in 4th grade when I was around 10. Stargirl had such an effect on me as a kid. For anyone who has no idea what it's about, told by this boy and this girl named Stargirl moves to their school, and she's pretty much an outcast because she's strange and weird and doesn't at all fit in, to an extreme. She reminds me a lot of Luna Lovegood, and it's kind of about his experiences with her. Underground Girls of Kabul in Search of a Hidden Resistance in Afghanistan by Jenny Nordberg. This book is written by a journalist who is stationed in Afghanistan. She realized that there were these girls in Afghanistan who were being dressed as boys so that they could go outside and have more freedom and help their families. Girls couldn't work in the family business or whatever, whereas if they dressed the girl as a boy, then she could work and bring in money for the family. She might be able to go to school when she wouldn't be able to otherwise, and things like that. So Jenny Nordberg was there and she realized that this was happening, but no one talked about it. Everyone knew that there were girls dressed as boys, but it was kind of this unspoken thing that no one really talked about it. They just went along as if the girls were boys, even though most of the time they did realize the truth. Sometimes they didn't. It depends. She begins kind of looking into it and finding all these different girls who have been dressed as boys as kids. Of course, it talks a lot about gender dynamics in Afghanistan. You also have so many different experiences with all the girls. Some of the girls despise having to dress as boys. Some of them want to be boys forever. Some of them believe that they are boys. Some believe that they are girls, and just lots of complicated things. And it was something that I'd never heard about before this book and was extremely interesting. The last one I don't have to hold up for you. I read it in high school, and it's The Chosen by Chaim Potok. There are a number of books I read in high school that I don't actually own and I really should buy. That is definitely one of them. It's actually a book that I read for summer reading, and it was an optional one, and I think only 2 other kids chose to read that one. Everyone else chose something else, which I think is a shame because I loved it. Basically, it's about two Jewish boys become best friends, and then World War II breaks out and they're living in New York City. And basically it is just about their friendship and like the things that kind of pull them apart, especially with the Zionist movement, because each of their dads has completely opposite opinions about the Zionist movement and the establishment of Israel. And it's been a very long time since I've read it, but I'm pretty sure that's like the final thing that kind of drives them apart as friends. Another one of those books that was about characters in a culture that I had never really experienced before. I've read my fair share of books about Jews in World War II in Europe and dealing with the Holocaust, but it's the first time I ever read a book about Jews in America during World War II and what that was like. So those are 5 books that I wish more people would read. Obviously, it is not a definitive list and there are plenty more. Feel free to let me know what books you wish everyone would read in the comments, and I will see you guys later. Bye.